What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today, talking about probably the most anticipated album for at least this weekend, maybe one of the most anticipated ones of the entire month of September, and I am talking about the latest offering from Between the Buried and Me, The Blue Nowhere. This came out on September 12th, this time on Inside Out Music. This is their first album on that label, which is a subsidiary of Century Media. This is the band's 11th studio full-length overall, and, well, I've only become a fan of this band over the past few years. I did, if I recall, review the last one, Colors 2, which I thought was an awesome album. And I've been slowly, I have everything from Alaska to Colors 2, but I haven't really checked out very much from BT Bam, and it was always because this band just kept, like many bands, escaped me over time. And I knew if I dug more into this band, I would dig them, because these guys are modern progressive metal, progressive death metal, or extreme prog metal geniuses. Like, this band, I know, are amazing. I've heard at least now 2 albums in full from this band, and, well, I'm just going to go ahead and say, spoiler, this is yet another awesome offering from these North Carolina boys, and what more could you ask? So, it's been about 4 years since Colors 2 came out, which made this the longest gap in the band's history between studio offerings. And I know part of it was because of some legal stuff going on between the band and their former rhythm guitarist, Dusty, who, not going to get into the allegations he's got, but yeah, there was a lot of lawsuits being threatened between Dusty and the band, which I don't know if it's been resolved or settled or whatever, but regardless, this is the first album in a long time with a 4-piece. It's just Tommy, Paul, Dan, and Blake all jamming together, and I think for the better, because Paul, I know he's a phenomenal guitarist, not just lead-wise, but riff-wise. And, well, let's go ahead and talk about the album. So we kick off with Things We Tell Ourselves in the Dark. Very different song from the majority of this album. Like, this song has a little bit of a really cool twangy vibe to it. Like, the opening clean riffage and funky bass, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought, did I accidentally switch over to Red Hot Chili Peppers? Because it kind of has a little bit of a Red Hot Chili Peppers vibe with the clean playing and the funky bass. I just thought, wow, this is actually a really cool way to start. And there are heavier guitar progressions, but they're in the background. But I gotta say, Tommy as a vocalist, I think I talked about him when I talked about Colors 2, such an awesome singer. He can do growls, he can do screams, his melodic vocals are awesome. Hell, I'd honestly rather have him in Dream Theater now than James LaBrie, because I'll say there are moments across the board on this album where Tommy's vocals kind of almost sound like early James LaBrie, but I would say a little bit, or I should say a lot better, in terms of not straining himself. But yeah, the vocal flips from the growls to the screams to the clean vocals all over the map is just awesome. Tommy's such a dynamic vocalist and solid keyboardist. He's contributing a good amount of keyboards, as well as Dan Briggs, the bassist. But here on this opening track, I actually like how the chorus feels a little bit more rock forward, which adds a lot of cool dynamic, and then really cool legato melodies. Although towards the end, it does get more intense. There's blast beats, the riffing gets a bit heavier, and there's some chug at the end. But that was kind of an appetizer for the following track, God Terror, which electronics and drums build up into heavier riffs, bigger screams, chug and groove. And Blake's drumming on this album, he definitely is a hybrid, I would say, of Sean Reinert, Mike Portnoy, and hell, I would even throw in Hannes Grossman in there when it comes to the blast beats that pop up on this album. They kind of remind me of Hannes Grossman a little bit. But I also love how this song builds really nicely into a monstrous breakdown. There's a couple of really cool, nasty breakdowns, here in the track Door Number 3. those breakdowns were almost death metal oriented, and there's a good chunk of death metal on this album, and it comes in right away with the following track, Absent Thereafter, almost like technical death metal. Like I get some nods to like Obscura, Necrophagist, maybe even a little bit of like Job for a Cowboy's recent output. It's kind of got a little bit of that veneer, at least briefly here on a few sections here and there. But you do get some like really cool D-beat gallops. It's one of the most energetic songs on this album, but you also get some like atonal melodies, and I love the tension building. Like there are a lot of moments on this album where it's like building the tension up for whatever is about to come in next, like as if you're at a circus sideshow and you're seeing all these performers doing all these crazy tricks like a tightrope walk or like jumping through rings of fire, trapeze, and all that stuff. It's like that feeling. It's like you never know what you're going to get when a lot of these tension building moments happen. And I love how it builds different moods, and then hell, it flat out boogies. Like there's some like boogie guitar and gallops kind of coupled with some death metal chug. And then I swear, towards the end of the song, the rhythms and the guitar lines, I'm thinking, are they channeling a little bit of Van Halen's Hot for Teacher? Like it kind of reminded me of that song a little bit. I'm like, this is actually really, really sweet. And then it ends with saxophone and trumpet, which I thought was pretty cool. And then, skipping ahead, we go to the song Door Number 3, which I brought up the breakdown earlier. That song, as well as I would say Psychomantium and Slow Paranoia, those three songs are probably the most death metal oriented songs. Like Door Number 3 starts off with death metal triplet chugs, but it's on top of like a proggy groove. Another excellent chorus. Like the choruses on this album are quite catchy and quite fun. And it's probably the most aggressive song of the album because of how heavy it gets, but it's still remains quirky and whimsical. Like this album's very quirky and whimsical, almost to the level of Faith No More a little bit. Like there are some Faith No More nods, especially on Psychomantium. Like those songs, or like that song in particular, has a bit of like a Faith No More quirk to it, even down to the vocals. Like Tommy's channeling a little bit of Mike Patton on there. But going back to Door Number 3, one interesting dynamic that doesn't pop up anywhere else, Middle Eastern style melodies. I was thinking, did I accidentally switch over to Nile for a second? But like not like a fast aggressive part, but just like one of them like folky interlude songs that Nile does with those melodies. Kind of made me think of that a little bit. But then Psychomantium, again, tons of death metal riffing, some tech death going on as well. But I also love how it also switches around with the groove and like really soothing vocals and melodies, and then it gets into like Dream Theater territory with the riff work and, like I said, the vocals. Hell, towards the end, melody and acoustics that remind me of Opeth. Like there's a couple of Opeth nods on here as well. Hell, going back to the track Pause, which was mostly synth and acoustic driven, but you get like great acoustics and vocal harmonies that made me think of Opeth, like Damnation and even the last album a little bit kind of gave me that vibe, but it builds up nicely into Door Number 3. And then Slow Paranoia, it's like atonal, but a big like rock hook at the beginning before you get some, again, death metal chug. And it's got quirky vocals on top of a nice galloping rhythm. And then to go to show you how whimsical this song gets, I almost get reminded of the Addams Family a little bit. It's like they're channeling a little bit of the Addams Family kind of whimsical music into this song. But of course, heavy chug, piano builds up nicely to synths and bass groove. But then we get to the final two tracks, the Blue Nowhere, the title track. Very theatrical song, I must admit. Like it starts off rather theatrical. Hell, this and the closer, Beautifully Human, probably the two most like intimate sounding songs. Like the title track's got a ton of like intimate melodies and hooks and Dream Theater feels in the chorus once again. And also I like how, even though it was a bit of a sharp transition, high vocal notes on top of a gallop into a soothing acoustic ending. And then Beautifully Human kind of goes between two different moods. Like, it starts off kind of sad with the acoustic play, but then you get synths added on top to kind of start building up a more lighthearted feel to it. Hell, even the riff and the groove that comes in kind of remind me a little bit of Deftones before it shifts to classic prog. Like, I'm talking Rush and Yes, like there's a lot of that veneer going on here. Of course, Dream Theater as well. But again, those melodies that show up are really intimate and soothing and beautiful. And I haven't even talked about the lead work on here, even though there weren't very many solo sections. Like, you get a lead in, let's see, actually a couple of leads in Absent Thereafter, but also leads in Psychomantium, Psychomantium, let's see, and Beautifully Human. So not many leads. Well, you do get like a lead melody on top of the title track and a solo towards the end, but it's only a few songs you get true blue leads, but they're done beautifully, like Paul channeling a little bit of John Petrucci and Steve Vai a little bit. After all, he's heavily inspired by both of those guys. But yeah, like overall, top to bottom, and of course, as far as production, it's organic, well balanced. Like, bass is audible, guitars are present, vocals present, drums present, mixed by the great Jens Bogren, which, you know, it's going to sound good when you have him at the mixing helm. But yeah, like musically, couldn't really find much wrong with it. I will say the song Marauder Uncoil, the one like under 1 minute interlude, it does feel a little bit of like BT Bam writing like a brief Disney score. While it's cool, I think that could have been incorporated at the beginning of Psychomantium. I think that would have been a lot better. But yeah, the album, yeah, it's over an hour long. Actually, I think it's over 70 minutes. But of course, it's prog. It's to be expected. But I wasn't bored at all with this album. I really enjoyed this. Honestly, I'm going to give this 4.5 out of 5 yet again. I mean, this is probably up there amongst the best prog albums I've heard this year. Of course, it's BT Bam. They're like one of the legends of prog metal now. Prog death metal, extreme prog, prog rock. I mean, this album, from at least what I know about BT Bam's past work, I would say this album is mostly akin to albums like Coma Ecliptic and the Automata albums. It's like that particular time frame, but with touches of their sound on like Colors and The Great Misdirect and Alaska and that kind of stuff. But yeah, this was just a fun experience. If you are a fan of BT Bam, or if you're new to BT Bam, if you're a fan of Dream Theater, Opeth, I would say like Rush, yes, maybe even like tech death touches of bands like Obscura, I'd say check this out. This is some awesome stuff. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching, keep your horns high, and your dreams wet.